The shoulder girdle is by far one of the most movable areas of the body, but it is also one of the most fragile. Statistics show that every year over 7 million people in the U.S. seek medical treatment for shoulder injuries. For serious and recreational athletes alike, the pain and instability that results from shoulder injuries can jeopardize careers and alter lifestyles. As with many injuries, though, this number could be greatly reduced with the proper care and training. The circular patterns of Indian club exercises represent the foundations upon which all more other complex girdle movements are derived. Club swinging can be described as circular weight training, but can exercise the shoulder, wrist, and elbow in ways not possible with traditional linear weightlifting. Club swinging will not only strengthen muscles and ligaments, maintain joint flexibility, and improve range of motion, but greatly reduce the risk of injury. As with any new exercise program, you should consult your doctor first, especially if using the clubs for rehab. Then start slow with lightweight clubs only, concentrating on proper form before increasing the speed, demand, or a heavier weight. And now, Motion RX Incorporated presents Indian Club exercises with Dr. Ed Thomas. Dr. Thomas is a Fulbright scholar, martial artist, and physical educator with over 25 years of teaching experience at numerous schools, including the University of Iowa, Emory University, Northern Illinois University, and Graceland University. The Fitness Council of the National Sporting Goods Association has recognized Dr. Thomas as a quotable health and fitness expert. He has helped build training programs for schools, nations, and the U.S. Army. When it comes to innovations in physical education, the Thomas School is in a class of its own.
Welcome to Club Swinging. My name is Ed Thomas, and if you have already been training with me, feel free to skip ahead to the next section and begin. But if you're just starting, stick around for a moment and let's go over some of the basics. Club swinging is an ancient art. It came to the United States from Britain, and the Brits got it from India. And it's 5,000 years old at least in that country. There are some other areas from which it might have come, from Iraq and Iran. It's one of those arts that we really don't know that much about historically, but it's been around a long time. I began swinging clubs in 1953. That was 50 years ago in Davenport, Iowa. Davenport had a rich Turner gymnastics tradition, and it was also where chiropractic medicine was born. So there were plenty of teachers around who helped me understand that movement could heal. And I'm going to show you my system today, and I hope it can benefit you. I began studying exercise science and kinesiology about 40 years ago, so I've had plenty of decades to think about these systems and whether they have any worth, and I'm convinced that club swinging can be of tremendous value. It really turned around for me in Burma. In 1988, I was living there, and Burma, of course, is across the Bay of Bengal from India, and I had a wonderful club swinging teacher who helped me really understand the origins and the purpose of this art. So before we begin, I would like you to think about 6 things and remember them as you train. The first is our purpose. Now we're going to be focusing on the shoulder girdle, but you can imagine that if the shoulder girdle is aligned and healthy, it's going to send a ripple of movement to the elbow and to the wrist, to the neck and to the back. And everything is interconnected in the body. So think in terms of the shoulder girdle, but understand it's going to help you throughout your entire body. So first of all, consider integrity. I'm sure you realize that as we get older, the tendency is for the shoulders to round forward and turn inward. We often see people walking with their palms facing to the rear. These muscles get too short. These muscles need to be a little bit smarter and toned. So our training should help put the shoulder girdle back where it belongs. And let me tell you up front, if you do this training every day and then you walk out the door and you pay no attention to the way you carry yourself, take these back, get your money back. It's not going to make a difference. If you're going to train with these clubs, Be aware of the way you're carrying your body all the time and make it a part of your life. Then you'll really benefit from these. So first of all, it's joint integrity, putting everything back where it belongs. Secondly, think about mobility. If everything is where it belongs, you can begin to move it through its full range of motion. So with integrity and mobility, we're now ready to begin with efficiency. That's the connection between the brain and the shoulder girdle. Those neural highways that travel the messages back and forth. We want to clean those up so whenever we want to make a movement, we can make it with maximum efficiency and minimum effort. So that's the purpose. The means we're going to use are also threefold. First is progression. Build your own ramp. Don't get too far ahead of yourself. Slow it down. Don't work toward the heavier clubs right away. Stay with a light club until you have mastered the movements and you can move on to more complex movements. So progression and variety. Every one of the movements I'm going to teach you, you should try to master if you possibly can. The shoulder girdle was made to move in an almost unlimited variety of ways. So all of the movements I'm going to teach you in club swinging will help you reach your maximum potential. So progression, variety, and lastly, and certainly not least important, is precision. Do these movements exactly as I'm showing you on the video. Practice every day, and each time you practice, try to do the movements more efficiently. So once again, integrity, mobility, efficiency, through what? Progression, variety, and precision. A final note, you will find out these days fancy club swinging done by the jugglers. I would recommend that once you master the movements I'm going to teach you, take a look and see if there's something you can learn from the fancy swingers. Even take a look at the heavy club swinging. And then make your own system. Make a better system than what I'm going to show you. If you can do that, you've invested your money wisely and your time. So let's get busy. All right, here we go. Hold the club so that your little finger is about halfway down the ball of the club. You use your right hand, I'll use my left. Now take a look at how I'm gripping it. See how my knuckles are flat, my wrist is straight. Okay, I'm going to start with a real simple movement first. Coming down, palm goes up, back down again, and back up. Let's do it again. Real simple. And now let's add something. Come up, keep your wrist straight, bend the club back, bend the elbow just a little bit, come down, back and forth. Now we're going to do this just with one club, but pretty soon we're going to go to two, and for the most part we'll train with two clubs for the rest of the tape. Just get used with one club at first. Now let's come down, come all the way up, put it behind, and back down again. Simple movements at first. You can do this way or this way, whatever you like. Now let's take the other club and try them both. You can cross them, uncross them, this way, cross them, come back. Now sometimes you can cross the right hand in the front, and sometimes the left hand. Right hand, left hand. Next time, come up, one more time, all the way up, down. Next movement, bring them up. Notice my fingers are pointing up toward the ceiling, and stretch, but keep your toes forward at about shoulder distance and lift your stomach and your chest. Stretch up, palms downward. If you allow your palms to go up, look what happens. The clubs go out of line, so keep the palms down. Coming down, cross them, One more time. Up. And now we're going to make big circles. Come down, cross, and all the way up. Sometimes place the right hand in front, sometimes the left. Now let's try the other way. Cross them, up, reach, now let's go back and front. Wrist straight, knuckles flat. Back, up, and all the way up. You're doing fine. Come up to here. Roll your palms up. Bring your elbows in. Make a circle. So it looks like this. I'm going to stop and talk about this for a moment. When you do this, make sure that you hold on to the club. Don't use the fancy club swinging system where you just let go and let the club drop. What you're looking for here is full range. And notice how the elbow has to move back and forth to get that. So as you do this, come up, hold on to the clubs. All right, quick review. This way, and back and forth, and a circle. Next movements. Come up, palms down, cross, uncross, and stop right here. Make sure your wrists are straight and your knuckles are flat. Bring your elbows together. You see how the clubs drop? Now begin making a large circle. Open your chest, and once it's open, come straight out, bring the club over the top, palms down. Let's do it again. This is a very important skill to learn. Wrist straight, knuckles flat. Make a big circle, open and out. Grip change here. You can even use your finger to lift the clubs. Drop it, open. Just let them drop, bring them up. Slowly again. It's important to reach, pull back, and reach up. And above all, keep your wrists straight here. Don't allow them to bend. Keep them straight. Pulls your shoulders back. Well, the next movement is the opposite direction. Cross them, come down, swing the clubs up, palms are down, drop them over. The clubs should be pointing at each other. Bring them down, but keep your arms far enough away that they won't hit each other. Drop them, bring them around, right in front of your chin, cross them, up, point them at each other, bring them down, keep it close to your face. You notice you're shrugging your shoulders. Feel that? Up and down. Now it gets a little trickier. We're going to, let me show you first. We're going to alternate. This is the movement you learned. But we're doing them both at the same time with each hand. But if we alternate them, it looks like this. So here we go. Your right, my left. Take the one that's in the front. Turn it over. Wrist straight, knuckles flat. Make a circle with the elbow. Open the chest. Bring the other club over. Extend the left arm. Now the club that's coming up in front of your body, put it behind. Swing this other club over. Let's do it again. It's coming up, put it behind, swing the other over, see? So what would it look like if we went in the opposite direction? Something like this. You recognize the benefit for tennis, or volleyball, or baseball, or throwing a football, swimming, you see? But look, stretch, keep it big, reach. And use the centrifugal force of the body, you see, to pull everything away from your center line. All right, let's take a look at this in slow motion. Right one's coming up. Left one down. Got it yet? Keep trying. All right, give your brains a break.
5-time Ultimate Fighting World Champion Pat Miletich was introduced to Indian Club exercises during rehab for a partial rotator cuff tear and jammed shoulder. The clubs have now become an essential part of Pat's training for himself and all his elite athletes. Here we see Pat and student Jason Flynn during a routine club workout. Pat is also the trainer for 3 former world champions and recognized for having one of the finest world-class training systems in the U.S. today.
Okay, here we go. I'm not even going to explain this one. I'm just going to show you how to do it. See if you can figure out what's happening here. One club's in the front, one's in the back. Point your elbows across, and go out. Take a quick check and make sure your toes are pointing forward. You can have your feet about shoulder distance apart. Tuck your pelvis. Stabilize your body. Let's break this down. Figured it out yet? If you have, go in the opposite direction now. Come around. Let's change directions. If you're mirroring my movement, your left hand is in the front. My right. Switch. Now your right hand's in the front. Bring them out. Let's go the other way again. And we're going to add a little twist this time. As you come around, the hand that's in the front, in your case it's going to be your left hand now, let it drop early so that the clubs will be here for a moment. And now they catch up. You see, this is going to look a little different. Forward hand's going to lead. I'm going to slow it down. And let's change directions one more time. Forward hand is leading. And now the forward figure eight. You take your left hand. I'll put my right under my arm. Reach up. With your right hand now, turn slightly to your left. Diagonally across the body. Bring it all the way to the rear. Now the hand that's under the arm starts to come out. But keep this back hand coming up in a big circle. And as you open the arms, you'll notice your right hand's going to face directly to the front, your left hand directly to the back. Now tighten your stomach. Pull your hips into place. Continue the circle. Now, your right hand is under the arm. Turn. Let's do it on the opposite side. Open the arms, but always remember, bring that arm up and put that arm under the arm, under this arm, so you'll be able to come out from underneath. And remember, before you turn, put the club under the arm. Diagonally, all the way to the rear, all the way up, out to the back. All right, 2 more great movements. Let's take a break. If you like, you can go back and work on any of the movements we've done thus far, and when we come back from our break, we're going to look at some of the smaller circles.
West Point cadets learn Indian Club exercises under Herman J. Kohler, the father of modern Army physical readiness training in the late 1800s. Now, over 100 years later, we see some of America's finest at Fort Benning, Georgia, again learning this ancient art. Another example of learning from the past.
Now we're going to look at some of the wrist circles. We're going to begin out to the side. So hold your club as you've learned. Bring your elbow forward and drop the club behind you. And you can see how far your elbow has to move forward to do this correctly. Now as you come up, you have to bring your elbow back. Roll your club all the way out away from you. Palm is up. Get your elbow forward and start to pump your elbow. You'll also notice your arm is going in this direction. So this is what it starts to look like. Now notice the club is going away from your body. If your elbow doesn't come forward, your swinging is going to look like this. But you want that club to point out away from your body and all the way to the floor and all the way to the wall and back of you. So move your elbow back and forth. Now it's going to get a little trickier. Right here at the top, take your thumb, put it behind the club. Drop it, and then roll it up, and then put your thumb back, and then put it behind. So when it goes to the front, put the thumb behind, and then this way to the rear. So it begins to look like this. And now, let's work the lower circles. This is a little bit different than most systems. Rotate your palm away from your body. Bring it up and bring it over. Those of you that have practiced some martial arts might recognize the similarity. You see? And now, the rear circles get tricky. So watch this. I'm going to use my finger and go back and forth. And then throw the club up, and I'm going to point my finger in a big circle and drop the club. So it's going to look like this. And come to the front. And I'm going to turn around so you can see this one more time. See? So if we put these together, we have the outside circles, shoulder high, front and back, low circles, and rear circles. Try this with a single club, and then you start to feel better. Try double clubs. And for this tape, we won't go into the alternating small circles. But you can see that there are lots of ways to alternate them.
Let's take a look at Hans Reuter, who was one of the many fancy club swingers of the early 1900s.
Well, let's do a quick review. We began with real simple circles, remember? Then we went to these patterns, and what else did we do? We went to the inside, and then this one. And are you thinking? You can take some of those wrist circles and put them into this. And then what? We went to the front. There are lots of ways that you could add small circles inside, combining what you've just learned. There are even wrist patterns which you could figure out from the front, very similar. You can do alternating wrist patterns over the head. You can really become very creative with your club swinging after you learn the ones that we've put together. So take what you've got and keep practicing.